Okay, so we'd like to welcome you to Fabric Chicks Alive. Roger should be here. Oh, I'm going to see if we can turn this. Okay, Roger should be here any second. Um, so while we're waiting for him to log on, I'm just going to show you super quick all the amazing stuff that's come in. Oh, let me get a box cutter. Okay, hang on. I'm going to try to not make you sick. Hey, Carolyn, how are you? I'm going to try to not make you sick as I get a box cutter here so I can open up. We got 2 new boxes of the Campus Silks. Okay, so we're waiting for Roger to come and I don't know. He went to go find an invoice or something. So welcome to Fabric Chicks Live at on Monday, I guess. It's super exciting. I want to just show you really quick. Hey, Joanne from Fremont, is your machine plugged up yet? Hi, Rondi. Hi, Brenda. I just opened up this bag of fun stuff. So I told Christy that what I had, and I had to like call her and tell her. So each one of these days, like this is the 16th day. So you have 24 cute little bags to open, and it is a needle felting advent kit. But let me show you how cute the projects are in here. I haven't opened up those little bags. I'm afraid to because you got to open them up in order, I think. But it says it's great for beginners. So like the first project, I think since it's the first one on the book, is going to be felting these cute little poinsettia leaves, holly brooch. So you can make a brooch. You can turn it into something you put on a tote bag. Hey, Julie and Sandy. Hi, Victor. Look at how cute that little mushroom is, toadstool, and a fun little igloo. But hang on, look at how cute those little carolers are. And then they've got them here in a cute little display. So there's the drumsticks and mistletoe. So these are all projects that you can felt a cute little bear on the 13th day. And then he's super adorable. A Yule log on the 15th day. On the 17th is going to be baubles, cute little balls. And then an orange slice, a candlestick. Oh my gosh, it was so fun opening this up. So this is a project. Here's a little donkey. These are all felted. So these kits just came in. So the kit it comes like this in a cute little bag. And then when you open it up, I don't want to open it up because I don't want anything to fall out of it. But you're going to get all of this fun wool roving and instructions and fun stuff. So that we're taking pre-orders on. This one here is the egg that we're going to be doing in our felting class on May 11th. So the egg and the class is $80. Hey, Stephanie, good to see you. Hi, Dorothy. How was your fabulous trip? Are you home already? Okay, so Roger, Roger just was back and then he left again. Roger. Roger. You can totally see I'm struggling here trying to film this. So I'm just trying to kill a few minutes while he shows up to work. Let's see what else. So the felting was super fun. We've got a bunch of new projects in here. I haven't even gotten them out of the box, but we have a cute little toadstool. We have some felted poppies. Okay, here, can you video now? No, it is flipped already. Oh. Okay, you can see right there. Okay, all right, so so welcome to Monday at Fabric Chicks. It's always kind of a zoo here. I did get a project finished with the chenille it. So I want to show you how you can add chenille it super easy to any project. So this was and I haven't washed it yet, so I'm not sure how it's going to work because I did do a little bit of experimenting. So with regular chenille it, you're supposed to just so it comes in these little strips, 5/8 inch or 3/8 inch, and you're supposed to just sew down the center. Then when you wash it, it will chenille up. But like here where I've got some flowers blooming, I did kind of like layered. I folded it in half, so I'm hoping that's going to give me more of a blooming effect, but we'll see. It was a lot of work, so I hope it works. But here's the panel. Uh, here's what the panel looks like. All with the chenille on it. And on Wednesday, I'll show you a panel just plain. But it's super fun. I'm really hoping it turns out amazing. But it's one of those things that you're not going to know till you do it. So you just have to have faith in the process. So that's that. Does anybody have questions on how to do the chenille it? I do have, let me see. Here's a couple. I should have got these out before. Let me tear apart the whole shop. So here's a panel that I used the chenille it on, where I just kind of went around the different blocks on the panel and added the chenille it to give it kind of a fun little effect. And then here's another one that we did. So it's just, oops, here, let me turn it the right side. It's just a fun process where you can really pretty easy to give it a different effect, especially on panels, because they're kind of like a cheater, but this way you're putting your own artistic creative ability to it. Okay, let me see what I've got here. They had a great time. Oh, good, Dorothy, I'm glad. Connie's on her way to San Diego. Oh my gosh, you guys are just like traveling all over. Yes, Kathy, they have a brush like this. Someday I'll get all organized and have everything ready before I go live. But this is what we call a chenille it brush. It's a little wire brush. So you would get your chenille it wet and then just rub it. Is there too much of a glare? Hang on a second. I'm going to show you something that I didn't wash. Hang on. I know this is when Roger should tell you a dad joke. Okay, here's a panel that we haven't washed. So this, we sewed the chenille it around the bear, and then we got it wet and used the wire brush to give it that look. Okay, and then let's see what else. We have a super fun, so you quilt the quilt, then add the chenille it to it. So Victor, most people are going to add the chenille it first and then take it to the quilter. And it's not going to hurt for your quilter to sew over it. Even if it kind of flips it, once you wash it, it all comes loose, so it'll be fine. I personally, because I have a long arm and I do custom quilt, I add the chenille it as I'm quilting it. But most people who don't have a long arm, they add the chenille it first and then they send it out to be long armed. But you could do it in reverse, but I don't know why you'd want to. It'd be a lot more bulky. Okay, let me see if I've got, I think I answered all your questions. So then the other thing that I had to show you today is this super cute. Look at this new fabric line just came in. It's Marsha Dursey and Karen sewed up a little pouch really quick just to give you a fun example of what you can do with the cheater prints. The cheater prints are always nice because they sew up super fast and easy. Okay, on to the next. I feel like we have so many demos today. So we have scrappy tape. Scrappy tape is an interfacing. It looks like this. And so it comes in different sizes. We have 2.5 inch, except for that should be here any day because we keep selling out of the 2.5 inch. At the retreat, Lynn was using it to, so all of our scraps left over from a quilt to put a binding on a quilt. So I thought I would just experiment with the 5-inch tape because you know how I like to experiment. So I thought because Halloween's my favorite, so I'm doing a Halloween one. So it's a great way to use up all of your scraps. Halloween, Christmas, you always have a ton of scraps you don't know what to do with. So here, Becky like sorted out my scraps. So I've got a lot of bindings. I've got a lot of just weird pieces. You know how we all get weird scraps. So this one I kind of, I don't know, I'm afraid, well, I guess I could sew that one on. So Becky separate all my scraps into like, well, not all my scraps because all my scraps would not fit in here, but I didn't want to overwhelm her the first time she was sorting. So I sent her home and she put like tissue paper in between. So here is like our creams, here's our browns, here's our novelty prints. We've got some Christmas here. Look, those are Kathy Holden's. And then we've got down here some turquoises and blues and reds. So I just had her sort out all my scraps by colors so that when I have a project I want to use them, they'll be ready. So I thought, because we have these super cute Halloween ones, so I did put numbers on them in case you guys want to order. So if you want to order, you just put S and then the number. And so I think this bat is super cute, but I'm going to put, what I'm doing right now is creating the border, scrappy border to go around it. But if you have Christmas fabrics, you could totally take your scrappy Christmas and do a border around that. A lot of you bought this pattern on previous shows, but even the Halloween one, you could add the scrappy borders to the pumpkins also, and you could do it on all fall colors. And say you want to just make a pillow, you don't want a table runner because you don't like table runners or whatever. You could just make one of these pumpkins and turn them into a pillow. Or you could do placemats, you could do all kinds of different things. You don't necessarily have to do what the pattern says. The pattern is just an idea to get you started, and then wherever you take it is where you take it. So those are some fun ones, but I'm going to show you how to use the scrappy tape. To the best of my ability. So here I started, and I am just using everything that I have. So oranges, fallish, whatever. This one was a binding I was trying to experiment with. So I really probably maybe should have opened it up and then used it. But I was wondering how it would be to just have something loose in the quilt, like a flange or something. So I might just leave that there. I'm not sure. And then here was some extra blocks that I had from a previous project. So I just put those in. So it says to start, if you're using the 5-inch, which I am, because 2.5-inch seems like a lot of work for such a small piece. But I am saving over here, I'm saving all of my smaller pieces in case I decide I want to do something like that. So you're not really going to care if you, forgiving project. You can sew cockeyed, you can sew crooked, you can sew straight, you can do whatever you want. I started here doing it straight where it's going to be more like piano keys, but then Carolinas are always so crookedy, so I thought I would try that. You will waste a little bit more fabric by doing it sideways, but you add a lot more interest. And what do you really care? Because it's your scraps you weren't really going to use anyways. You were going to like donate them for dog beds. So here's kind of a good view of how you can do the different angles. And this is a pattern by Carolina Moore. It's the Scrappy Mug Cozy. So it's made to go around your regular mugs, not necessarily a coffee mug, which we've done in the past. So you're going to just take, these are the 2.5-inch strips. But you can see here on the diagram how you can just sew them as crazy as you want. And they really do kind of turn out pretty crazy quiltish. Okay, so I've already started. So I'm right here and I'm going to just find a piece of fabric. I should have kind of got these ready before we started this live. But I'm going to take this piece and I'm just going to angle it right here. You just want to make sure that you've got enough when you're angling it. You don't want to angle it so that it's like here and you finish and you didn't catch all of your scrappy tape, okay? You want to make sure that you've got enough overlap that when you flip it over, you've got it covering your scrappy tape. So I'm just going to take this here, but say I want to change the angle, I could take it this way. So I have choices here. I can go this way or I can go this way and do more interesting designs. So I'm going to do it kind of crazy because Christy says I can. Although I think you waste a lot of fabric the more angles you put in, but it does make it more interesting. And if I wasn't using a cheap, crappy machine, I would have a thread cutter on this machine. And that would allow me to cut my fabrics easily. But I don't know, all my good machines, and I just had scissors too. All my good machines are upstairs or at home. So we're gonna use this one. I'm gonna lift up my presser foot. I'm gonna pull my fabrics back so I can cut the thread. And then I'm gonna cut here to about 1/4 of an inch because I don't want that extra fabric there. It just adds bulk. So I'm just gonna cut that little piece of extra where I angled it away. And then I'm gonna take this fancy little roller. I know it looks like a rolling pin. And because you don't wanna use your iron on this interfacing. And I'm just gonna iron it like this. And then take my next one. Let me see here. And I'm going to put it here. Oops, that scrap is too small. So that's going to have to be kept for my next little one. Let's see. Oh, here's a good one. Who doesn't need zebra stripes when we're doing a Halloween quilt? So I can do it this way. And then I would get a really wide piece. Or I can sew it this way because it's big enough. And then I can just trim it down however wide I want it. So I'm just going to put this here. And you can see I've got it lined up here with this fabric. So I'm going to go at an angle on this fabric. And then I'm going to trim it like this. And I don't know how wide I want to make that. So I'm just going to take my scissors and eyeball it because that's what I do. I don't want them too wide. I'll save that for like my next go round, get my little roller and press it. And then I'm going to take it because I've got quite a bit. And so I want to keep using all this leftover stuff. So I'm going to take it over and I'm going to trim it up as I go. So this is kind of what it looks like right now, like long strips, everything left over from whatever I was using. I'm going to flip it to the wrong side so I can see where my interfacing is. And I'm not going to cut from the roll yet because I want it to be one continuous piece. But I'm just going to bring it here. And cut it. And if I was super organized and cute, I would have like a wooden spool or something that I could kind of wrap it on as I go. But, you know, that would take some pre-planning and some effort. Okay, and then I'm just going to flip this side around because this is the side that's really pretty unruly. And I could, except for, you know, I don't like to waste anything. I could cut these down as I'm going so I don't have this like really long leftover binding piece, but that would make it too simple and I might have more waste. Okay, so I'm just gonna pull these out. All right, you guys, I'll look at my computer in a minute so I can read your comments. So I've just got this lined up with the interfacing here and here, and I'm gonna trim it. And this way I'll be able to use these same fabrics over and over throughout the quilt. And we all have scraps that we don't know what to do with, but we don't want to get rid of them and then we drown in them. I'm super excited to see what it's going to look like. Okay, so those I'm going to take back and put in the other ones. If I have small ones like this, I'm going to save them for the 2.5-inch strips. But to be honest, these, I mean, they're good for small applique, but otherwise they might need to go into a dog bed. Otherwise, we drown in all the stuff we save. And that's a lot coming from me who saves everything. Okay, so look at how cute that little border is going to be. Super cute. So then I can just take this and I can roll it up and use one of those cute little clips that I don't know where one is. And then just work with it smaller like this. So it's not all in my way. Okay, let me see. Do you guys have any questions about the scrappy tape? It's super fun. Oh my gosh. Victor is insane. Save your scraps to make 1.5-inch squares. Victor, I don't have enough time in my life for that. No, I actually, wait, come here, Roger. So I don't know if I've taken you guys on a tour of our bathroom lately. We have a quilt here. Victor, you'll be so proud of me. Look at these little squares. One of my customers years ago embroidered me all these blocks, all these cute little blocks she made for me. And so I put all these little scrappy squares around it. So I do use pretty much everything. I don't really throw anything away. So this is what Eleanor Peace Bailey calls the pink shrine. You can see we've got quite a theme going on in the bathroom. I always wonder what men think when they come in and use this bathroom. There's like reading on the bathroom walls here. All kinds of fun stuff. You won't really get bored in this bathroom. In here, somebody never claimed their trash to treasures. So I leave it here in the bathroom, hoping that somebody will use the bathroom and say, oh my God, that's mine. But nobody's claimed it. So that's a leftover trash to treasures. Always something exciting. You get this side over here. Here's somebody left their glasses. Lost and found is in our bathroom. If you've lost anything, we've got a few extra bras in case you forgot to wear your bra today. Here's a pin cushion. If you've got leftover stilettos that you don't want to wear because they hurt your feet, you can turn it into a pin cushion. All kinds of fun stuff. You just never know what's in our bathroom. So there is a use for those 2-inch squares. You're right, Victor. Okay, let's see. What else do we have? Um, okay, so perfect for doing bathroom. Oh my gosh, now um what do you think, Roger, when you go in there? Yeah, we have another bathroom. It's called the office. Well, it's got a plate that says the office. Um, so that it's like a family bathroom. I know, Brenda. I hope the men don't get too distracted. Um, okay, so we try to keep things interesting here. You just never know what to expect around any corner. Okay, so then the other thing we have is I'm trying to think if I missed. Oh, here. This is going to be our demo next week unless I get sidetracked. We got these cute little wool pre-cut wool packs from Wonderfil. And all your little pieces are in here already. So we're going to do a demo on how to get that ready next week. So that's for that. I only have a few of these. These are a special edition if you need them. They're purpley glitter rotary cutters, limited edition. So S04 for $21 is the pink glittery Fiskars rotary cutter. And then we did just get this in. It's their stickers. A lot of people are decking out their sewing machines. Did you see Carolina Moore actually glittered with rhinestones her machine? But so we have these cute little take a deep breath, exhale, you've got this, inhale. So you know when your sewing's not going so nicely, you can remember to just breathe. So S05 is for the cute little take a deep breath stickers. S06 is the 5-inch scrappy tape. It comes 25 yards in a roll. Wash away foundation that stabilizes the grain line of your fabric until it is sewn into your finished project. Make unique 5-inch strips using fabric scraps using a stitch and flip method, then trim to size. Since scrap tape washes away with water, do not use steam or a starch alternative while constructing your strips. Wash the stabilizer away after the project is complete. One package includes 25 yards. And then we also, this is brand new. They just came out with a 13-inch. I haven't tried this one. You have to gather scraps that are 14 inches or larger. But I think this one might be great to do bigger, like if you want to make a whole quilt using your scraps, it would go much quicker because you can use bigger pieces. So Carolina does have, and a lot of you've already gotten this, but just in case you haven't, because you didn't really understand the scrap tape, she has the scrappiest quilt pattern, S136 is $10. And then she has the heart one that is S137. So those are that. Let me see if I got any comments. What was the rotary number? The rotary number was S04. S04. Oh, Lynn, the Yellowstone Zoom is tomorrow. I know. That's why I don't. Christy likes to be prepared and send things out early so you guys have them. I always wait till like right before to send the link because otherwise you guys get so confused. It's like we're all a bunch of blondes. Yes, Christy, I have the scrap tape to sell. If you want the scrap tape 2.5-inch, which Lynn, did you try it for your binding? How did it work? If you tried it already, let me know how it worked. Okay, and then the last thing we have today is to open up a box or two. because you know if a box gets comes into fabric chicks and sits too long in the same spot, it's going to be used as a coffee table. So we have these new boxes. I always love a box unveiling. It's more canthas. Okay, we're not going to go through the whole box today, but if you see, we do have some new stuff. So this is a golden one, a twin size. So these were $79. So we should have every color in the two boxes. But what we do have, which I only have a couple of, well, I think we have two of each color, maybe one twin size and one king size. Because for real, I think you need to be cutting them up. But look at what else came. It is a Frida cantha. So it's like a whole cloth. It is just Frida. What are you going to do with it? Really? You're going to sleep with Frida? Okay. So we have Frida here. This one's a cotton one, so I'll have to look at the prices. But we have two of the Frida ones. Well, apparently one of the Frida ones because Roger wants one. No, I know where to get more. Okay, let's see. A turquoise one, a cream one, a red one, an orange one. Oh, the pink one is really pretty. Dorothy, you might need... No, these are just the silk ones. No, I got two of the Fridas. I got two Fridas. Okay, let's see. What else is... I know there was something else that was different. Oh, here's one. Oh, this one's just birds. So in case you don't like the patchworky and you want to make like the cantha cozy, or you want to make pillows and you didn't like it being all different pieces, these are still the same where they've got a fabric on the back side and just one fabric on the front side. So it's kind of like they slow stitched one big piece of fabric. But I know I've got people who are using them for like covering the chairs in their cars, or you could in your house also. So you can throw this over your couch and let your dog lay on it, and then just throw it in the washer. They wash up really nicely. Even the silk ones. Everybody's worried about the silk. Silk is not as delicate as you think. Throw it in the washer. It's going to be fine. Okay, so that's that. We'll get these all marked for Wednesday. Okay, so I think that's it. Do we have any other comments? I know, Christy, who would have thought that Roger was in love with Frida? Tomorrow. Rhonda, you'll be fine. You don't have to be that accurate when you're sewing. Okay, Lynn. Well, I'm waiting to see how it works. The only thing I'm wondering is if you use the 2.5 inch for a scrappy binding, if it ends up being too bulky, but only time will tell. Yes, Sue, you can make the cozy with silk. Heidi actually is in the process of making me one with one of the cream colored patchwork silks. Okay, Dorothy, I'll put that one aside for you. Hey, Jane, how are you? Well, I'm not sure that they're parrots, but they're definitely some type of bird. I don't know if it's a parrot. Okay, the other thing I wanted to show you is flange binding. And I already sewed it on because I wanted to make sure it was done and I could take it home to wash it, because I don't want to wash the chenille without the binding being secured. So I sewed by machine today because I don't have time to do it by hand. Um, and what I did is I cut the flange, which is the accent border, this orange one. I cut that one 1.5 inches, and then I cut the actual binding, or what we would consider the actual binding, 1.25 inches. So 1.25 inches for the binding, 1.5 inches for the flange. And here, I'm going to open it up so you can kind of get a better idea of what it looks like. So it's just a tiny little accent there. And then I stitched it right there in the ditch by the machine. So it's reverse of what you normally do when you're putting on binding. Normally you attach your binding to the front side and then flip it to the back and hand stitch it down. And I stitched it to the back and then flipped it over, and then with the machine stitched it right down here in the ditch. You should be pretty accurate sewing it in the ditch there, but you can see sometimes it's hard to see. So like right here, I got a couple stitches onto my actual outside binding. But the trick to it is, and I have some left over, but I thought this was interesting too. So look at your fabric's all supposed to be like 44 inches wide, but I cut the same exact amount of strips of the orange and of the green flower. And look at how much extra. So Moda's is like 10 inches longer when you sew all your strips together. I had this much more than I did with the Quilting Treasures, which is kind of interesting that Quilting Treasures is making theirs not 44 inches or 42 inches or whatever, but it's considerably less than what the Moda piece was. And then, so what I did is I had to cut 7 strips of the flower, 7 strips of the orange, and then I sewed them together. I sewed all the orange in one long skinny strip and then all the flower in one long skinny strip. And then I sewed those. Once they were all sewn together, and I did do it on a 45-degree angle, so I spread out the bulk. Then I stitched up the whole width of this all the way down to create one continuous binding strip. And then I took it to the iron once it was sewn. I ironed it towards the binding. So I ironed it towards the binding. And then I put it on the table and I made sure that they lined up exact, which gives me this little bit of extra right there. And then once you attach it to your quilt, then you're going to just stitch in the ditch and it's bam, all done. So that binding did take me, I don't know, probably took me an hour to sew the binding on, which would be a lot less time than if I took it home and sewed it by hand. All right, I got to look and see if I've got any comments. I cannot wait to see that after it's washed with all the chenille. Me either, Kathleen. I'm a little bit nervous. Can you hold my basket until after Wednesday still and ship it all at once? Yes, I definitely will, Kathleen. Does the heart pattern use the small or 5-inch scrappy tape? Carolyn, that's a good question. Well, I'm just going to say for clarification, it says 1 roll of scrap tape. So I think you could use any size you wanted. Make a dent in your scraps with a quilt that celebrates your love of fabric scraps. Just 1.25 yards of background fabric and a single roll of scrap tape turns a pile of scraps into your new favorite quilt. Sewing scraps onto scrap tape is a meditative experience. You'll love digging to the bottom of your scrap bin and remembering projects from the past as you give these scraps a second life in a quilt. You can curate your scraps in a certain color or set of colors, or go wild with all your favorite scraps. Scrap tape provides a foundation to make sure your strips are straight, doesn't allow the bias to pull the strips, and washes away easily in water. Okay, let me see if it tells me here. Beverly and Beverly, I did get your message and I replied to it. I had already sent your basket before you sent me the email. So I've got your second order in a basket waiting to go next week. Okay, I'm trying to figure it out, Carolyn. Using the instructions on the following page. You're going to make 18 yards of scraps. I'm going to say that you need 2.5 inches. I think you need the 2.5 inch scrap tape because your background that you're going to, right here, the background that you're going to put it into, those are all cut 2.5 inches. So you definitely need the 2.5 inch scrappy tape. But you could use, I'm just saying, if you want to get it done quicker, you could use 5.5 inch scrap tape and just, instead of cutting your background 2.5 inches by the width of the fabric, you could cut it to 5 inches. In my blonde brain, that seems like it would work, but maybe it's going to throw the shape of the heart off. But we could ask Carolina. She would totally tell us. Okay, let's see. Oops, call me to give me a date, please. Peggy, a date for when you want to come up here? Has my basket been shipped for Christy's banner class on Thursday? Class kit and double thread stand. Sandy, did you get Sandy, I'm going to track yours because I'm wondering if you should have gotten the banner kit already. I mailed all of those out. I haven't mailed stuff from the collage class yet, but the banner should have gone out the week before should have gone out like earlier in the week before the collage class. So I'll double check that, Sandy. Okay, any other questions? I think that covered all of our demos for today. Okay, so we will see you guys on Wednesday at 4 o'clock. Go organize your scraps so you'll be ready for some scrap tape. All right, have a good night. Go get some sewing done. Bye. Bye.